Hey you. Giles sat at the table, reading a gardening catalogue, while Moth, frowning, concentrated on spooning porridge into an envelope which also contained a missive from the child tax credit people, who wish alternately to shower us with rubies and to hold our oatmeal in security against what we owe them, depending on no factor that we've been able to isolate. The power's back, he said. I made you some tea. He boiled too much water. Ralph spoke from under the table. Mummy likes 2 cups in the morning, said Giles. His gaze flicked over my off-white Victorian nightdress and cardigan outfit. But then she boils it again anyway, so the second one is fresh. Do you know there are children in Africa dying because they haven't got any water? I bet their mummies don't drink cups of tea. Moth turned the envelope upside down and watched as porridge fell slowly to the floor, followed by a parachute of official communications. Giles actually packed these letters, a whole kitchen table's worth, and brought them from Oxford because he thought we might deal with them while on the island. Giles's sparkling career is founded on his ability to use observations about the present behaviour of puffins to predict their future movements. I suppose it's necessary, if also delusional, to believe that people have more capacity for change. All splat, said Moth, again. Giles passed him another envelope. I sipped the tea, which was tepid and stewed. There are also children in Africa who have air conditioning and satellite television and chauffeurs, you know, I told Ralph. It's a continent, not a refugee camp. Why can't we have satellite television, he asked. Giles stood up. Because it's an instrument of late capitalist excess that rots the brain and promotes American cultural imperialism. Anna, if you can take over here, I'll go talk to Jake. No deal, I muttered. Oh, all right then. Ralph, think of the carbon footprint of a television. You can't worry about global warming and want lots of big gadgets. He crawled out from under the table, threw Moth's fallen porridge and stood up. Why can't I? Why, added Moth. Moth wants jam. I sat down. Eat your porridge, Moth. Because making electronic equipment uses lots of energy and makes lots of toxic waste. What kind of toxic waste? I'd forgotten our new policy of not giving Raphael the basis of any further forebodings about the present and future state of the world. I don't know, I said. Moth, love, don't put porridge in your hair, or in your brother's hair. Porridge in hair. Mummy, clean it. I ran an old baby muslin over Moth's hair. He pushed it away. Peepo. I held it over my face and flapped it up onto my head. Peepo. Mummy, you look really silly like that, said Ralph. Are you going to stay in that nightie all day? I ate some of Moth's rejected toast. No. In a minute, I'm going to go upstairs and reappear in one of my fabulous designer porridge scrubbing outfits. Moth started trying to brush his hair with a jammy knife. Do you want to wash the floor, Ralph? I asked him. I think you might be just about old enough to do it all by yourself if you're really careful. What, with the big bucket? I lifted Moth out of his high chair and frisked him for concealed porridge. If you think you've grown up enough not to spill it. We had a kind of potato omelette that I told Giles was frittata for lunch. It would have been better if I'd either boiled the potatoes first or started frying them about an hour earlier than I did. But one advantage of a boarding school childhood is that Giles can and will eat all but the worst misjudgments. In theory, I disapprove of cooking. It's not a coincidence that ready meals and supermarkets appeared at the same time as equal opportunities legislation. In practice, cooking means that you can hide in the kitchen wielding knives and listening to Radio 4 and still be a good mummy, thus achieving a variety of domestic servitude which is still not, I believe, what Mary Wollstonecraft, Emmeline Pankhurst or Betty Friedan had in mind. It's even less fun here, where I can't get Radio 4 most of the time. Vegetables come seasick from Collar once a week, and the olive oil that Giles is accustomed to dribble over my more questionable creations like a kind of upper-class ketchup is probably more expensive than heroin, which might in any case be more effective. After the frittata, I walked off while Giles was still making coffee. I learnt that from him. You don't say, do you mind if I go work for an hour or so, and will you settle Moth for his nap and include Ralph in whatever you're doing next? You don't even say, I'm just going to do a bit of work if that's okay. Even this will be construed as a negotiating position. You just leave the room as if it does not occur to you that someone will have to tidy up lunch, change Moth's nappy, spend half an hour hanging over the cot patting his back while Ralph slides down the banisters singing as taught by his godfather Matthias, clean the loo, help Ralph with the Lego that Moth will eat if he can, and make a casserole before waking Moth, who will otherwise sleep all afternoon and stay awake all night, as though he were a denizen of one of those vine-wreathed Mediterranean cultures in which adults appear to want no time at all to themselves. I sidled round the house, abstracted my laptop from the luxury green holiday cottage come building site, where it would be too easy to find, and headed along the shore towards the old village. It's barely a hamlet, really, the remains of 12 stone cottages, none larger than the kitchen in Colsay House. They were abandoned gradually from the late 19th century, and it's only the most recently inhabited one that still has most of its roof. It's been a weak summer so far, and I've wondered if I might be able to light a small fire in the hearth. But the village is visible from the big house, and the last thing the working mother should do is send smoke signals revealing her whereabouts. So I make do with fingerless gloves and a coat, which gives me the regrettably accurate feeling that I'm always on the point of leaving. The house also has a kitchen table, sheep droppings on the floor, and a framed photo of a young man in a Second World War uniform on the wall. But I can usually get internet access from a room with an intact ceiling, which is all I really need.